Hi, this is Eva for Once Upon a Timeline. Merry Christmas, everybody. We just finished Christmas like 2 minutes ago, so probably the rest of you did too. And if anybody's still awake, let's see. So QB is still awake, and she is the first one in today. Thank you. Janice Windsor, Nachiketa, Copanine, Consciousness of Steel. I like that one. Heart's Truth, Silver E55. I think most people are probably in a food coma right now and sleeping. Shari D is in, Chanty Moody. All right, so what's going on? I actually thought it was going to be a slow week, but I found a bunch at the last minute. All right, so this one, the eclipses, the eclipses. Somebody mentioned the eclipse last week, and I didn't quite grok the fact that it's going to be this annular eclipse. And I've been hearing about those for a few years now, but I don't recall them ever looking like they are right now. So when I first heard of annular eclipse, it looked more like this. Let's see if I can get this one to be large. Where you would just see mostly the corona and maybe a molecule of sun, and this is how I remember it. I actually kind of remember, well, not kind of. Originally, eclipses were just eclipses, and then you started to see more and more of this corona business. First, the corona was just a little bit. Now it's huge. And then they started talking about annular, and it seemed like it wasn't that different. But now all of a sudden, annular eclipse, I mean, this is actually what it looks like. This is not a fantasy. This is what it looks like. So the moon now is so small in an annular eclipse that they're calling it a ring of fire. And I have not seen this before where it looks, that looks weird. All right, so that's how it looks now with this annular eclipse. And surprise, it's tomorrow, or the 26th. It might even be. I'm not sure when it's the 26th in the rest of the world. So like this, it kind of like looked like mostly corona before, but now you can see a lot of the sun, a lot. So, I mean, have you seen an image like this before? It's first for me that an annular eclipse would look like that. So they're calling it the Ring of Fire. I have not heard of the Ring of Fire eclipse before. Supposedly there was one in 2012, and a lot of these images I'm pulling up now are from I mean, look at that. And then the clouds in front. Have you seen anything like that? So we had one in 2012, they claim. I kind of figured they're going to have to do something because we had so many eclipses. So these are multiple photos of an annular eclipse. We've been having so many eclipses now all of a sudden that it's getting kind of boring. So they had to, the ME had to, I guess, boost it up a notch. So now we have the Ring of Fire eclipse. Just weird. I saw the image. This is more like how I've been seeing it here. Not like that. Really weird. There's another image of it. Like that. It's just like, no. Sorry, guys. No. It looks cool, but no. Just no. So that's the image on the thumbnail. So that supposedly is a real image. It's supposedly not doctored or anything. They're claiming. It's hard to take anything seriously anymore, I swear. See you all's in. Dark Wolf's Den in. Ring of Fire eclipse. It's happening like any minute now. Because it's supposed to be on the 26th. I'll talk a little bit more about that. Okay, so an annular eclipse. All right, let's jump straight to I'll get rid of that one. Uh-oh. Dope. Okay. I can find it again. Wiki. It was just the wiki. Come along, kittens. All right, here we go. The 4 types. Okay, so a total eclipse is what we're used to. That's the old timeline where the moon looked like the same size as the sun and completely blocked it out. All right, so what do they say? An annular eclipse occurs when the sun and moon are exactly in line with the earth, but the apparent size of the moon is smaller than that of the sun. Hence, the sun appears as a very bright ring or annulus surrounding the disk of the moon. So I kind of expected something like this would happen because we've now got the moon different sizes with this super moon business where it's bigger and then it's smaller. And so I'm like, well, how is it always going to block the sun evenly like it used to in a regular total eclipse? Well, it doesn't now. You've got this annular eclipse. Then there's partial eclipse where it doesn't completely cover, so it just takes a bite out of the sun. Now, this fourth one I have not heard of either. A hybrid eclipse, also called annular total eclipse, shifts between a total and an annular eclipse. At certain points on the surface of the Earth, it appears as a total eclipse, whereas at other points it appears as an annular. Hybrid eclipses are comparatively rare. Well, don't hold your breath. I bet that we'll be getting one of those soon. It's kind of hard for me to imagine. Now, if they're saying that the moon is far enough away that it looks smaller and doesn't completely block the sun and makes it an annular eclipse, then how does it look annular from one part of the Earth but total from another part? I mean, the difference would have to be really tiny, you would think. So I'm really curious to see what's going to happen with this hybrid business because this is my first annular eclipse that I've heard of. I've heard the word thrown around, but this is the first time I've seen anything like that. So I would guess that this hybrid thing will be next, and maybe there'll be even more kinds. I don't know. It's weird. All right, so look at the terminologies. Terminology for central eclipse. Central eclipse is often used as a generic term for total, annular, or hybrid. First contact, second contact, totality, third contact. All right, anyway, there you go. So that's what they're getting. This is what they're getting like any minute now on the 26th. All right, so we're not getting it in the United States. So I was checking to see where they are getting it, and this is the weirdest eclipse map I've seen because usually it just shows a path that stretches across. You just see a map with a path, and anything in that is straight line. But here now, apparently, I've never seen this horseshoe-looking thing as a path. So, eclipse begins at sunset. Eclipse ends at sunrise. So, I guess that's why you can't. Wait, why would it even do that? Actually, eclipse begins at sunset. All right, well, I don't know. This is supposed to be the path of the thing. Oh, okay. So you just get it in here, I guess, and then you don't get it there. All right, it begins at sunrise, ends at sun. So anyways, you know what, I actually can't even understand this map. I was just glancing at it and I just found it, but this is the weirdest map. So this is the path that the path of annular solar eclipse. So maybe in here the sunrise or the sunset affects it and ends it. Anyway, just weird because I've never seen this curved thing here. I was looking at other places and they were saying you could see it in Europe, but this does not look like you can see it in Europe. It looks like it's above Australia. So Australia should be able to see some of it. That's the December 26th annular solar eclipse. I've been seeing it. It's called Ring of Fire too. All right, let's look at this other map here and see if I can find December 26, 2019. Malaysia. Okay, so looks like it's mostly above Australia. Then July we'll get another lunar. So what we only have oh, that's June 21, 2020. What about the No, this is the December 26th. Okay, yeah, I don't know. All right, so what else do we have this year? A lunar, another lunar. June 21, 2020, we're going to have another solar annular eclipse. It looks like it's going to be in Africa and the bottom of Europe. And then two more lunars. All right, so I've never heard of this annular, and we're getting two this year. Woohoo! This weird map. We're not getting them in the United States, but still. Close that one down. All right, so I don't know. That's how much I know so far. An annular exam. Yeah. Eclipse was here in Dubai 7:38 a.m. Oh, Shari, I didn't even know you were in Dubai. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know what day is the 26th. So basically, you were getting it on our Christmas day, which is kind of interesting. Which was the 26th for you. All right, well, that kind of clarifies that. I heard a little mumbling about it, but it used to be this huge big deal when there was an eclipse, but now they're just like every 5 minutes, so. In Facebook group I'm in, people are tripping over things that are old Emmys to me, and they have known about the Emmy longer than I have. For example, the Statue of Liberty, the building underneath. I wonder if there's a lot of new shifters, maybe. It seemed like we had like a really long break, months of like little Emmys. I mean, I saw things changing, but it was kind of slow. And then there was kind of a big shift like 2 weeks ago or so. And I wonder if we got some new people in. My apprehension is that this is a crescent eclipse, moon not covering the sun, but is too small, and the prophecies for the Mahdi included. Mahdi. Yeah, let me know a little more about that. But it's not a crescent because it's going to be a full ring. I mean, it'll be a crescent coming in. Okay, so there's how it'll look. So at this point, it's a crescent coming in, but that's the case for all solar eclipses, that as it's coming in like a partial, and then it's going to be a circle, so it's not really a crescent when it's done, when it's in totality, as they say. Them waiting for a sign in the sky of the sun turning into a crescent. Yeah, that would be like every solar eclipse though, so I don't know. We've had a lot of them. Eva, check on the Hurricane Erin that hit New York City on 9/11. It's unreal. I've talked about that quite a number of times. It didn't actually hit New York City. Now, when I first heard of it, and I think I talked about this, it was a couple years ago when I learned of it. I learned of it before I had a YouTube channel. I was still just on Retconned. And at that time, there was just a hurricane off the coast of New York on 9/11. And we were tripping out about that and all the extra buildings that were damaged and all the extra new weirdness and the way the buildings look different when they fall and the planes look different. And, of course, that freaking hurricane is ridiculous. But it was just like there. But now it's kind of gotten weirder because now the story is that the hurricane was heading straight for New York and then did like 150 degrees turn, which is almost a complete opposite turn, and then shot off in the opposite direction right before the building collapsed. So now it's like super weird. And of course, if it was barreling straight towards New York all that time, then why didn't any New Yorkians or anybody else freaking out? Because it was a pretty big hurricane heading straight for New York, and yet there were no evacuations, no preparations, nothing. So, I mean, it's ridiculous, and it's gotten even more ridiculous because now it was heading straight for it. So that's just been the last few months where I heard it was heading straight for New York and then did the 150-degree. So yeah, but I've talked about that stupid hurricane. Stupid. I don't know what it is. 9/11 hurricane. I've talked about it on Retconned a lot. What if Hurricane Erin had hit the coast on 9/11? I mean, I just don't get it. There was like nothing going on as far as a hurricane. There was no preparations, nothing. I don't know about this timeline, but as terrorist attacks were unfolding in New York City, Pennsylvania, a hurricane was hovering off the northeast coast. Last I heard, it was actually shooting straight for it and then shot away. Hurricane Erin about 500 miles east-southeast of New York. All right, so there's the satellite image if it holds still for 5 minutes. There's the hurricane and there's the coast. Whether Hurricane Erin East Coast track would have thwarted the hijackers' plan to carry out the worst terrorist attack on U.S. soil will likely never be known. Some of those airports may have been forced to close, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It's ridiculous. But yeah, anyways. Okay, so there we go. Let's see what you guys are talking about. Mandelians of the multiverse. Life Matrix put up an Emmy from 2016 of Art Bell dying, but I dug into it. Now he only passed in 2018. What, he passed like a year ago? Really? It seems like a lot longer. Especially with these super short years. I knew people who were there at the time and said nothing about any hurricane. Yeah, because there wasn't any. Everybody is shocked about the hurricane. I have yet to meet one person who said, oh yeah, I remember that hurricane. That has got to be like one of the biggest Emmy weirdo things. I mean, I don't know if there's even one other Emmy. Every time and I've talked about it a number of times on Redcon, there hasn't been even one troll. There hasn't been any snide, know-it-all person. Oh yeah, everybody knows there was a hurricane. Not one person has opened their peeper. I might be cursing myself with this. I'll probably get inundated with trolls next time, but have you covered Hitler's training dogs to talk during World War II? No, I have not. I've not covered that. Okay, let's get to that one. Dogs to talk. Well, it's going to be World War II because that's all he was involved with. So I don't think. Hitler hoped the clever creatures would learn to communicate with their SS masters and even had a special dog school set up to teach them to talk. The incredible findings show Nazi officials recruited so-called educated dogs from all over Germany and trained them to speak up and tap out signals using their paws. I have covered that in this timeline, the Nazis were some kind of animal lovers, and Hitler was vegetarian for a while and had all these animal rights things, and that was not in my old timeline. But I have not seen this thing where he thought he was going to train dogs to talk. Nazis tried to train dogs to talk, read. Oh, man. It wants me to register, so shut up. I'm not doing that. Hitler believed that he trained dogs to talk. He believed that he did train them. Okay. That he trained dogs to talk during the war. They learned poetry. All right, you get the brownie point for weirdest Emmy for today so far. I'm gonna write this one down. Oh no, this is too funny. Teach dogs how to talk, read, and spell so that he could get ahead of his enemies. How many shifts until they really did it? That they really did talk. The Germans at the time viewed dogs to be almost as intelligent as humans. You know, I love my dog, but there's been no signs of her learning any words. The Nazi Party decided to build an army of frightening, talking dogs. Hitler hoped that the dogs would eventually learn how to communicate with their SS masters. Recruited suitable dogs from all over Germany. It is even rumored that one of the dogs whispered Mein Führer when it was asked who Hitler was. Another dog learned how to speak by tapping the letters of the alphabet with its paws. It was even believed the dog speculated about religion and learned poetry. No, come on now. I don't think we've shifted quite that much. I love my dog, but I don't think so. I mean, she's got a kind of intelligence, but it's not the kind that humans use to talk. It's a different kind, at least in current timeline. I don't know. Ultimate plan was to use these dogs alongside the SS and the guards at concentration camps. Eventually, the dogs would have completely taken over the camps, and then no need for human officers anymore. A researcher named Dr. Jan Bondison had looking into this rumor, brought to light some facts about the Wu-Fan SS experiment. The Wu-Fan SS experiment? Are you serious? All right, I'm going to have to look into that a little more. Is this even for reals? I feel like it must be The Onion or something. I mean, that doesn't sound... I mean, the Wu-Fan SS experiment. While it sounds bizarre and completely untrue, the researcher was proved wrong. Hitler was known throughout the war for love dogs. He also was quite keen to use dogs in his war efforts. It was somewhat successful. Some of the dogs did tap out words with their paws, and reports suggested that some of the dogs were actually able to imitate the human voice. One of the most successful dogs worked in the school with an Airedale Terrier named Rolf, who apparently spoke by tapping his paw against a board. Rolf was known to have speculated about religion, learned foreign languages, wrote poetry, and asked a visiting noblewoman if she could wag her tail. The dog supposedly expressed a wish to join the army since he disliked the French. Come on, people! I don't think I'm ready for this timeline if this is true. I'm going to look up Wu-Fan SS experiment. I don't know about this article. It sounds completely ridiculous. SS experiment cap. No, Wu-Fan. I'm not finding this. Is this real? I'm having trouble with this one. Wooffan. Okay, I don't have enough F's in the Wu-Fan. Wu-Fan. Experiments in human canine telepathy were conducted. Headlines in British tabloids and plenty of claims that Hitler was barking mad. Fox News. There were some very strange experiments going on in wartime. I don't think I can get to New York Times without paying. Just trying to see if there's any like legit. Let me see if I can get to this New York Times one. At this late date, when we believe we know absolutely everything about Adolf Hitler, could it be? Oh, I didn't get very far. It looks like New York Times is going to corroborate, though. All right, well. I don't know what to say. That is just really, really strange. Wufan SS experiment has come to light after years of painstaking research by academic Dr. Jan Bondison. You know, I don't know what's weirder, the research, the beliefs, like the whole country thought dogs were almost as smart as people, or that they're claiming that there was some success with this. They're claiming a dog was like had opinions on religion. I'm going to have to keep an eye on this one because this one is a whole nother level. This is a whole nother level. Star forts are a big thing. Yeah, those have been around for like at least a year though. But yeah, it seems like there's more and more every 5 minutes. Time matters. Time matters. Good find on that Hitler's dog thing. That is just so weird. Nine 11 was always clear blue skies. Yeah, I'm actually that's a good point. Did we get clouds? Are they showing clouds now? Are they saying that it was 500 miles away and it didn't quite um that it didn't that the clouds didn't make it? See, it's still clear blue skies, but they're saying 500 miles away there was a hurricane. So I guess the argument then is that the argument is that the clouds were still too far away. Boy, look at how black that smoke is getting. That's even blacker, I think, than other times I looked. It's getting very dark. I've covered before, I remember it being gray smoke, all gray. More like this, but even grayer in there. I don't see how that image can be an image and then turn around and this also be. How can it be so black in one image and then gray in another? They were all gray before. I don't see how you can have images with them super gray and then super black. It's one or the other. I think it's going to shift over to all black, but all right, anyways. So the skies are still blue though. The plane crashed. Which is weird though because usually it'll be cloudy for like I mean, we would get storms here and we don't have a hurricane anywhere near us and we're not going to get one and we'll have cloudy weather and storms and rain and stuff for like days. Yeah, Life Matrix does not remember the black smoke. Um, Do you remember the talking dogs of World War II that Hitler trained? Because that's an interesting one. Dark Wolves, conference site for information videos as they drop. MandelaEffectConference.com. For a minute, I thought you were going to say the next one was already scheduled. Conference.com. Did I even spell that right? No, I didn't. Ants.com. What did I not spell right? Let's try it like this. There. Somewhere I spelled something wrong. I don't see anything different. Schedule. Yep. Nope. This is all the old stuff. Videos. Maybe under videos. All right. So you got some. Oh, okay. So you got some interviews up along with the YouTube location. Right now, I just have the YouTube location linked on my website. Check out the first electric car, silver E55. Last I checked, it was like 100 years ago, and there was electric cars before gas cars. The latest yammer I've been hearing is people refuse to accept that electric cars are more powerful than gas cars. I actually heard some quick chirp of that on TV earlier today, of all things. So I'm kind of thinking that that's next. That electric cars are going to become more powerful, because that's always been the complaint, that they were inefficient and wimpy. So that would be kind of cool if we have better cars and they're electric and they're more powerful, because I wanted to get a four-wheel drive, and right now the power is not there in electric cars for four-wheel drive. So it'd be nice if the timelines were to shift and make that possible. Thank you. Have you ever heard of Gombe War of the Chimpanzees? 1974 leader chimps were named. I saw an OBB. Never heard of it. No, I've never heard of Gombe War of the Chimpanzees. Gombe War of the Chimpanzees. Gombe Chimpanzee War. Was a violent conflict between two communities of chimpanzees in the Gombe Stream Park. The two groups were once unified in the Kasalkela community. Jane Goodall noticed the community splintering, separated, and I guess they fought until one was killed. Seems like the chimps are getting more aggressive in this timeline. You know, they used to be vegetarians, and then the next thing you know, they're eating small animals, and then they're cannibals, and they're eating their own young from like other tribes, and now we've got war. The outbreak of the war came as a disturbing shock to Goodall, who had previously considered chimpanzees to be, although similar to human beings, rather nicer in their behavior. Yeah, well, that was how they were. All right, chimpanzee, yeah, Gombe chimpanzee. So I guess chimpanzees have war now. You know, in the old timeline, the vegetarians always used to use chimps as evidence that humans were naturally vegan because they never ate meat. But in this timeline, you don't hear that anymore because they do eat meat. They're even cannibals. All right, so Gombe, War of the Chimpanzees. They look so different for me too. The chimps look so different for me. All the giant weird stuff on the side of their head didn't have, the males didn't have that for me. Dark Wolf's Den, Eva's website. Yeah, that's the Wix site, but you can also go to mandelaeffectresearch.com and it will forward you to my Wix site. And it's easier to remember mandelaeffectresearch.com than blah, 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 blah. Please, the painting of Maja of Goya is different. Yeah, I didn't know that painting, so I can't help you too much on there. Painting, spell it right would be good. Oops. Back there. I mean, every art that I did know has changed, so it would not surprise me in the least. Nude Maja. Yeah, sorry, I don't know that painting, so I can't help you on there, but the naked version too, she is now skinny. Skinnier anyways. Yep, I don't know. Actually, I better not leave that on too long, because that might be enough for me to lose my safe for all audiences thing. Please, the painting, blah, blah, blah. Planet of the Apes. Yeah, it is kind of like that, isn't it? It's the real Planet of the Apes. Cynthia Sue Larson looks younger. Let me see if I can go backwards. Yeah, I don't know. See, she looks the same as I saw her like last month, and I really didn't know of her until very recently, so I can't help on that. So, I don't know. She died in some timelines, apparently. She did not exist in other times. In this timeline, maybe she's getting younger, or just fared much better. I think we're all just living longer and longer, so I mean, like, I look a lot better than I think people my age used to look. And so does all the people my age now. I mean, I look like 15 years younger than I probably would have in my old timeline. And feel it, too. Hope you all are being good to yourselves. Yeah, holiday season. Yeah, it can be. My parents are passed on. I just have my friends over. I get to choose those, so there's not too much drama. Anyone else remember Will Smith's kid being an I Am Legend? Sorry, I'm not keeping track of that stuff in recent years. Teslas are quicker and more powerful. Yeah, the stink was always that electric cars were wimpy. So maybe that's shifting now. Saw the Recall Vectors video of the I Am Legend zombies have turned into vampires, but I don't remember his kid being in the movie. Sweet Joy remembers that him in there, though. Yeah, there it is. Dark Wolf's Den put up the link to my channel. So I have under there. So he's Mandela Effect Conference.com. I'm Mandela Effect Research.com. But I do link, and it takes you to this Wix site. I do link them. There's a conference. This links his conference channel that I was on earlier. And then they're putting up the videos from the conference of 2019 up on there. But they also have them on YouTube, so I linked the YouTube channel here. I actually finally did watch the Mandela Effect, the movie, a couple days ago, maybe almost a week ago. I actually kind of liked it. I mean, I don't think that the Emmy was caused by programming at a quantum computer. I personally don't think that, but they had to pick something. And when I think about it, I mean, most movies that are made really do suck. So I did not hold a great hope for our movie, for the Mandela Effect. There were so many things that could go wrong. I mean, it wasn't like a blockbuster #1 movie in the country or anything, but I thought it was overall pretty well done. They didn't make a mockery of the Emmy. They included a lot of Emmys. The acting was decent. It wasn't corny. There's a whole lot of things that could have gone wrong that didn't. It was a little short. I'm assuming they didn't have the world's giantest budget. You could argue that it was a little cliche in some of the concepts. Going back in time and changing something kind of reminded me of like a Star Trek episode or something. But overall, I didn't have any major complaints. I think it could have been a lot worse, a really lot worse. So I would suggest watching it, unless the money is really an issue to you. It's not that much. If you click on my media page, you can see the movie. I believe that this will show you where you could buy it. Watch on Prime Video, rent buy from $4, so it's not that expensive. I think it's definitely worth watching. A lot of people said they really especially like the first half because it reminds them of what they went through, where he realizes something's awry. They used a lot of examples that are typical types of Mandela effects, like he had a photo on his fridge and it changed a little bit, and then he's trying to talk to his wife, honey, don't you remember that this happened over here? And she's like, I'm busy. Can you just, not bother me? And then he's trying to talk to, I think it's the son or some relative. And then the son's all, that's just bad memory and come on. And, so a lot of it is like kind of reminds us of what we typically have to deal with too. But I don't know. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I think people in the Mandela Effect community are just really, really picky. And so they're really ready to go, no, that's not perfect and that's not right. But I think it could have been far, far worse. So I'm not complaining. I'm not. All right. So anyway, this shows where you can watch it. Noble put a new video about the population of the USA. I've seen the video a couple years ago. Yeah, even like 3 years ago, a lot of people were saying they remembered 10 billion as our population, and it was down to 6 something. Let me just see what the population counter is these days. I have watched the population counter reset quite a number of times. Oh, it's at 7.8 now. Ho ho, ho ho. All right. Okay, this is interesting. All right, so we've got another billion since last time I looked. Oh, very interesting. Okay, so 3 years ago, it was like at 6.6, and it would go up to 6.7, 6.8, and then it would go back down to 6.6, 6.7, 6.8. Last time I checked it, it was about 6.8, 6.9. I don't think that was that many months ago. So we're at 7.7 now. So it's past that 7 billion, 100,000. Yeah, 7 billion mark. It's past it. All right, so it kept resetting for like several years. It wouldn't get past the 7. World population by year. So now there's a whole nother billion since last time I looked. All right. Okay. So right around here, for me, it was about 6.7, 6.7. Last year, it was like 6.8. It had not passed. This is interesting. Okay, so my current timeline's got an extra billion compared to... I don't know why this one trips me out so much. Okay. So, I don't know what I expected, but yes, okay. That population, I don't know what to say. It's just... So, for the last 3 years, it was under 7 billion for me, and now it has been by year. Let me look at how far back it's been since. So it was it was like 2008 numbers for me a year ago. 2008 numbers in 2018. I don't know what to say. We just gained another billion. Yes, been shifty. I think it's been a few months since I looked at the population counter. I kept waiting for it to peak past 7 billion, and it kept coming up and then going back down and up and down. Now we're at 7.7. 7.7. I don't know what to say, man. This is getting smacked on the head by MEs today. Talking dogs and an extra billion people and rings of fire and... Apparently you guys found one with this zombies versus vampires thing. No, but... Okay, so Shari... I wonder what he put out about the population thing. Because the last I heard was a bunch of people remembered 10 billion. And then about 3 years ago, it's holy chihuahuas. There's only 7 billion now. Less than 7 billion, but they were rounding up to 7 billion. Dark Souls Den, you and Cynthia just jumped into my rally one day. Brian Stavely. Is Brian Stavely supposed to be well known? I mean, if people showed up in the last 2 years, I haven't been watching super carefully. But Cynthia is supposed to have been around for a long, long time, and I just don't think she was in my timeline. And I'm not the only one. How much do you older people know of Soviet ekranoplan? No, I've never heard of that. Ekrano. Boy, finding a lot of MEs for Christmas today. Loon class ekranoplan. Ekranoplan or ekranoplane is a ground effect vehicle designed by... The 1975. Used by the Soviet and Russian navies from 87 until 1990s. It flew using the lift generated by the ground effect of its large wings when about 4 meters above the surface of the water. Ekranoplanes like the Loon are not aircraft, seaplanes, hovercraft, or hydrofoils. See, yeah, I was thinking maybe it was a hovercraft or hydrofoil. I've heard of those. Ground effect is a distinct technology. No, I've never heard of that thing. The Loon, like we're loony. Ground effect vehicle. Physics is so different. That's why the wings had to change, I'm assuming, on a lot of the planes. I'm really suspicious that this was just not a functional thing in the old timeline. It has a maximum cruising speed of 340 mph. Seems pretty fast. Yeah, I've never heard of this ekranoplan. Ground Effect Vehicle, GEV. I'm gonna have to. What is the ground effect? Is the increased lift force and decreased aerodynamic drag that an aircraft's wing generates when they are close to a fixed surface. When landing, ground effect can give the pilot the feeling the aircraft is floating. When taking off, ground effect may temporarily reduce the stall speed. The pilot can then fly just above the runway when the aircraft accelerates in ground effect until a safe climbing speed is reached. I've heard about so it's decreased aerodynamic drag and increased lift force. I mean, I've definitely heard of air blasting down and then you're pushing against the ground, but I don't think I've quite... Whatever this was, if they had it before, I just... Either it wasn't as strong. I'm really suspicious about this. Maybe it wasn't strong enough to really be useful in the old timeline, but that's weird. Anyway, so never heard of it. Nagraza gel. Lots of different people here today. Phil Cantu. Bubble Bubbles is in. Jonar Games is in. Two weeks ago, my sister and I were stunned to learn that the neighbor across the street, decades-old family friend, had passed 18 months ago. Yeah. I don't know. There's been a lot of... My friend came over again today, and there was all these changes. She has a neighbor who worked for the U.S. government doing a secret thing. It was like he couldn't tell us anything about what he did. Now, we guessed it was some kind of IT thing just because he knew a lot about that stuff. And it was a high-paying job, and, he wasn't traveling much. So we're like, well, he must be clacking on the computer somewhere or doing something like that. Either IT or some kind of code breaking or something, but we didn't know because it was absolute secret. We weren't even allowed to say where he worked at or anything. And then the other day I mentioned that, and she said, "Oh no, it was never a secret. He's a computer programmer at blah blah blah, and it's not a secret at all, and it never has been." And I'm like, "What?" And it was a total secret. It was a big thing, like super secret. So now it's never been a secret. And we joked about him because he's kind of a jerk, and he didn't have any friends. And so she said he said he only had this one friend, and the friend was actually a coworker that he would eat lunch with, but they never saw each other outside of work. So this was just like 6 months ago she told me this. So we were kind of laughing that was his only friend, and it was really like more like a work coworker person because they never saw each other outside of work. And I mentioned that today, and she said, "Oh no, they haven't worked together for years, and they hang out together all the time outside of work, and that's the only time they see each other. So now he really is a friend. He's not just a So that whole story's gone. I'm like, kind of, my head's like, yeah. It's like, it's getting impossible to even talk to her because everything I remember from the past is now totally defunct. But at least he's, has friends in this timeline. Maybe he's less of a jerk too. I don't know. I haven't talked to him in a while. It's strange. Most of the advanced countries are experiencing population decline. Yeah, I don't know. Somebody else might come from a timeline where it was 9,000 or 9 billion last week, and I could come from somewhere where it was 6 billion last week, and so for one person it's increasing and one person it's decreasing. I remember 7 billion and 7.5 billion for a long time. That's not chiqueta. Last time I checked, it was 7.66 billion. Yeah, weird. See, for me, they were rounding up to 7 billion, so they were saying it was 7 billion because it was more than 7.5. I remember 11 billion some years ago. Many recall 13 billion, which is possible given how long it has been since I checked. That's data junkie. Dang! All right, so it's like I have never heard 11 billion and 13 billion. The most I have heard people remember is 10 billion. I remember 9 billion years ago. Seems like a Mandela effect as it uses the so-called ground effect to almost float. Yeah, it looks like it's just floating with ground effect only, and I have not heard of that. Now we've had hovercraft, but yeah, no. Is there another Mandela movie coming out in 2020? Oh, good question. 2020. 2019. The Mandela Effect trailer. 2020. But that's Black Adam will start production. All right, I'm going to play this thing.
Sam.
No, this is the old one.
My
The one
precious
this is
Sam.
2019. Maybe they just put 2020 on there to get more Dwayne Johnson announces. All right, I'm going to check on this Black Adam thing. No, that's not a Mandela Effect thing. I'm not really seeing one then. 2020. Yeah, not seeing any evidence of it thus far. Who knows what'll happen, but wasn't the movie called Mandela Effect and it's now The Mandela Effect? I you know what? I just didn't pay that much attention to it until I saw it like a few days ago, so I really I couldn't say. I think we checked here and here something. Yeah, we checked. I checked the population counter like every few months. But maybe it was a different version of me checking it that you remember. I don't know. I don't think it made it to 7 billion though. It was like it got up to like 6, 8 something, and I was kind of impressed it hadn't reset because it had kept getting up to 6,869 and then boom back. So according to the current timeline, it's been that way for 10 years. At 7 something billion. Yin yang, not yin. Yeah. Yeah, that's that. It was definitely yin yang for me. Watch Flash Gordon if you have before. It's mega Mandela. You know, the old TV shows are so corny now. Um Another one is Michael Jackson. Oh, you know what? I don't think I covered this. It was on Redcon. This one was a weird one. Did I cover the giant hand? I can't remember. He has like somebody noticed on Redcorn a couple weeks ago. He has like giant hands in this timeline. They first noticed because they thought he was wearing some kind of big, fat, silly looking glove. All right, so this is his hands. They're huge. And so he's known for it. I looked it up, and he's known for having these giant hands. So if you look at like the gloves, when he's wearing the gloves, it's kind of more obvious. Michael Jackson glove. So somebody noticed that the glove looked really big, and they just thought that he had a big, fat, silly-looking glove in this timeline. But then I was looking at it, and it's no, his hand is really big in this timeline, so the glove looks really big. It's like in some of them, he almost looked like a clown hand. You know, it was like a clown glove. I can't find that exact one, but actually, I've never seen that. That must be the injury. All right, I'm not seeing the one that she saw, but it looked bigger, and now I'm just like, yeah, your hands are bigger. But here's the thing, okay. In this timeline, his last album, he made several music videos from the album, and 10th album. And I've never heard of him before. In my old timeline, he was not able to do that. He was, I think that's the last one. It's the last album. Yes, there it is. Yes, this is the right one. So there's several music videos from, I think it was 2009, that just weren't in my old timeline. A couple years ago, I saw a new video from him, a new old video, and now there's two more. One of them was You Rock My World. There's a music video for that. And then there's another one. One of these other ones is also has a music video. And he smacks this girl's butt in one of them. It kind of reminded me, we're talking about lascivious kind of behaviors in the new old timeline. Rabbi says their Messiah is changing reality. It was in the Israeli news, and he also changes cognitions, memory alteration. Huh. Is that Messiah dude from... That's not that guy in LA, I assume. That one was interesting, too. Maybe if you can get the name of the rabbi, we can check that out. I'm curious to see what they're saying. Why are you skeptical that quantum computers are responsible for the ME? Maybe reality is a simulation at some level, then it is plausible in my humble opinion. I don't think it's that, but I can't rule it out. In the movie, it was just the D-Wave computer that was responsible for it. I am kind of fond of like the simulation theory, but I don't think that the sim is run like on a computer. I think whatever is running the sim is not like a human created style thing. It might be like power of thought, something like that. I don't think that it's like chips in a box or anything like that. I don't think it's computers are something on Earth. I don't think an earthly thing is running the Earth. I think something beyond that would be running it. So I don't know. A lot of people think when they think simulation theory, they think, and there's a big computer somewhere. I don't think that there is something that's similar to human computers. That's just my theory. I could be totally wrong. Who knows? But Meanwhile, the crescent eclipse is a prophecy, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but you know, every lunar eclipse is a crescent eclipse for a while until it's a total eclipse. The annular eclipse will become a ring, not a crescent. And then total eclipses just blot out the sun. So then it's just a black spot. So if you're saying the crescent eclipse is a harbinger, we've had like 10, 15, 20 of those in the last year. And supposedly going way back, although not in my timeline. No, this is an Israeli rabbi. Their Messiah was what we expect to also be the Muslim Mahdi. Yeah, well, I don't know. Israeli rabbi. Let's see if we can find anything about this guy. Israeli rabbi. Mandela Effect. Nelson Mandela's rabbi is waiting to greet him. The Jews who made common sense with Mandela. Confirms Talmud of Jemanuel. Huh. No, I don't know. I don't know. Wasn't enough to find it. Maybe not a computer, but a dream. Yeah, dreams, simulations, something like that. I don't know. That's kind of how I lean, though. So much mystery around MJ. Anyone think he is still alive? I haven't really thought of that. I don't know. I don't even know what alive and dead is anymore when people can suddenly show up again. Jungle Book Bear doesn't have the coconut bra anymore. Yeah, I heard that ME from somewhere. I think it was floating around retconned. Great. My kitty brought me another present. Dead mouse. Yeah, mine does that too, unfortunately. That's why there's no kitty door, because Kitty will not leave his play toys outside. He has to ask permission, and I have to inspect his mouth before he's allowed in the house. Life Matrix fell asleep listening to Eva. That's so mean. I'm going to pretend you didn't say that. Who can track all these crazy eclipses nowadays? Yeah, it's not even that big a deal. All right, so the crescent eclipse is a prophecy for the rise of Mahdi, Muslim Messiah. Christians believe them to be the same guy. We call him the Antichrist. Yeah, I don't know. Well, then he's been busy rising for a while because these eclipses. I just don't see the annular eclipses being any more crescenty than the regular total eclipse. And I had total eclipses way back even when I was a kid, so it's going quickly. There's a lot of people here. Thinking about getting rid of the kitty door. He's brought me a sparrow, a rat, and then a mouse. Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's just tough because I worry about him being outside, not being able to get in if he's in danger. But we have this outside, like, building that has, it's all made out of bamboo, and there's bamboo bars on the windows. So the kitty can slip through the bars, but no larger things can. So he can just jump in there if he's in trouble. Baloo. So Baloo does not have the coconut outfit anymore, huh? Yeah, somebody was talking about that. I do remember that outfit existing and like him dancing around with it. All right, so let me get on with the show here. I haven't made very much progress, have I? All right, no rabbi, world population. Population. All right, so I made it into a timeline with an extra billion peoples. Covered that. The talking dogs. All right, this one. Dum, dum, dum. All right, this lander keeps changing for me. This is the first moon lander, which was the only moon landing for me. And this timeline is the first one, Apollo 11. So this thing, I mean, it keeps changing. First of all, this was all black and white, and all these photos were black and white in my old timeline. And then I saw like this gold on these feet. And then the gold spread up into here. And then the gold turned to this copper color. Lately, the feet have some kind of gold, like copper bands on them. See these stripes? These weren't on there last time I checked. These copper, it looks like tape or something. And there's hardly any gold left. It's gotten all coppery. And so then what did I see recently is all this gray stuff. This was all silver for me. Now it's like this matte gray business all over the place here. This was shiny silver up here. I mean, it was like looked like tin or something. So now it really almost looks like this is made out of paper up here. And this gray stuff, here's gray stuff. That was not on there the last time I looked. This lander, I really should have put this in my indicator photos earlier, but I did do it now. And it's this same photo with this dude with his back to us, Futzel, and this control panel looks different. This panel had a lot more switches and stuff. It now looks like it's just empty air for the majority of this control panel. There's a few little switches over here. I'm looking at them like, what kind of control panel is that? It's just weird. It's weird. So look, more gray junk. This was like a shinier, more silvery color now, before than it is now. I don't remember any of the shiny foil crap up here, and none up here before. But now we've got foil with the copper-colored tape bits. I don't remember these balls on this thing here either. I don't know, with some kind of a radar dish, but I don't remember there being balls. This thing just changes all the freaking time. I don't remember this thing last time I looked. Now, originally, this whole thing, it didn't look all modular like that. It was more like a capsule thing. It didn't have any foil on it. It was just looked like silvery tin, but you couldn't really tell because it was black and white. So I don't know. The whole thing just looks more cheesy every 5 minutes. So I'm calling another Emmy on the Moonlander. Doink. All right, let's go to crocodiles. I've kind of covered this one before, but I ran into another article on it. So basically now, I've mentioned before that I don't remember alligators being able to get up on their legs and haul their body above their legs when on land. They used to kind of flop on land and drag along, and they were slow on land. They were fast in the water, but slow on land. But now they run along like ordinary lizards on land. This image with all this dried stuff, I'm assuming that this is just scum from the top of the river, but keep an eye on this because I've noticed that a lot of animals are starting to be able to have moss growing right on top of them. So I'm wondering if it's going to turn to that on these. But so now crocodiles just became a lot more terrifying. A new study published in Herpetology Notes finds that some species of the reptiles can climb trees as far as the crown, where the branches and leaves extend outward. How high the crocs venture depends on their size, but the highest observed was about 3 meters. So that's like about 10 feet. Scientists speculate the reptiles hike up trees for improved sight surveillance and sunbathing when there are few places to bask on the ground. So there was another article I was reading, and it was just like the usual, like they just found out. it kind of sounds ridiculous. I mean, this is 2014, but surely people had seen the gators or the crocs up in the trees long before 2014. It doesn't really make any sense that they had to do a new research study to figure that out. Anyway, old timeline, crocs and gators were slow, draggy things on the ground. New timeline, they jump up and run fast and climb trees up to 10 feet or more. All right. Got the Christmas solar eclipse. All right, saw this one just today. Lost city discovered beneath Ethiopia's once a pillar of the legendary Aksum Empire. Anybody ever heard of the Aksum Empire that is supposedly legendary? Excavations in Ethiopia have uncovered a lost city from one of the least documented major civilizations of the ancient world. Back in its heyday, 1st to 8th century, the African kingdom of Aksum was a force to be reckoned with. Sitting along the northern edge of the Red Sea and encompassing Ethiopia, Eritrea, Djibouti, Somalia, Somaliland, this flourishing and complex society played a major role in trade between the Roman Empire and ancient India. Absolutely never heard of it. Minted coins, first to adopt Christianity. All right, so Aksum Empire. You know, there's so many places that used to kind of not have much going on in the ancient times that is just springing up, that there was this and that and this and that ancient massive civilization. All right, so Aksum Empire was known for making these stelae, I think they call it, super high, interesting tower structures. I have not seen these before. Kind of like Egypt style, but even more cool. So they were some of the highest stelae in the world ever created. I mean, some of them have fallen down, but this one is still up. Kingdom of Aksum. So supposedly they created this ancient stelae in honor of King something something. I've never seen these before. I think we're going to hear more about this Aksum business. Very interesting. More of the below ground digging that seems so popular in the current timeline. Very interesting rock work there. So you're seeing a more interesting kind of carved out rock work in some of the stelae than you usually see. I think they'll be common for current timeline though. Okay, that gives you kind of an idea of scale here. Oops, that does not help. These are very tall. I mean, much more taller than all these. There's a person, it's that big. So these are like, what, 20, 15 stories high? Very thin. Very thin. So anyway, I think we might be hearing more of the legendary Aksum Empire that traded with the Romans and was first to adopt Christianity. Okay, now we're seeing these incarved squares and stuff. I've noticed the first time I saw one of those, they were saying it was an indication of machine tools used in ancient times, but it was not for the Aksum Empire. So now here we're seeing it again in these stelae. Multi-story buildings of antiquity. Ooh, look at the complexity of that one. Very hard to do chiseling, I would say. I would not be surprised if we started hearing more about machine marks. We're starting to hear yammer of it. It looks like they had maybe some kind of saw blades. You'll see saw marks, like accidental saw marks in areas that it wasn't planned to have the mark. Look, there's some more of those. This is more sophisticated. Look, it looks new style if you look at this. Different than Egyptian. It looks very new. Look at that. Very new. Interesting structure here. That's kind of cool. Aksum Empire again. So yeah, cool. Never heard of it. Legendary. Never heard of it. I am a history buff and I don't remember it. Well, sorry, it's legendary, don't you know? Yeah, I've never heard of it either. It's just, I'm getting so tired of reading these articles like, everybody knows about this, of course, and I just wonder how many people are like, oh, okay, now I know, now I know. Crocodiles that can climb trees, and they run fast on land now. Gators and crocs. That actually scares me more than the trees business. They can now eat the goats that climb the trees. Yeah, yeah. This week there was a crocodile in the streets of Toronto. All the wild animals are strolling through the city now. Even things that never did, like tigers, like the cats used to be, the big cats used to be so careful to stay away from civilization. But now lions walking down the street, just all kinds of stuff. Shari D does not remember Aksum. Data Junkie heard about it a few days ago. Pigs will fly soon. I don't know. What's coming first, flying pigs or unicorns? Oh, I have a good one for you, too. I have a nice animal one for Christmas. You'll like this one. You will like this one. I actually have some pretty funny ones today. You guys have come up with some, and I have some. You talk about that space thing. Yeah, I don't know what to think about space anymore. My old timeline, the evidence for space being fake was kind of weak. I kind of saw some stuff that was interesting, but I really wasn't convinced. Current timeline, there's a lot of weird stuff. So I really don't know what to think. I do think that the evidence that some stuff is faked is huge. But just because NASA might be faking stuff does not mean space doesn't exist. It might just mean that they're putting their money somewhere else, or the problems were too huge for them to really do what they claim they were doing, or what. Who knows? Maybe 90% of the Earth is a fake sim anyways, full of NPCs. So for all I know, so then it becomes a moot point. Somebody was commenting on the channel, how come when we shifted to Orion from Sagittarius, the skies don't look more different? I mean, they do look different to me, but we still have a lot of the same constellations. So what does that mean to me? I mean, to me, it means that the galaxy and the galaxy must have shifted also, so that everything kind of didn't change too much. So if we're talking just Earth didn't just move and the whole galaxy shifted, then you really almost have to be, it just has to be some kind of sim dream thing to me. And if it's a sim dream thing, then what is space? It's part of the sim dream. So anything could happen. Space could be anything if it's just a big sim dream. So then it becomes a moot point. I mean, there may not be any difference between space and out the backyard, because if it's all just created by the mind, it can be anything. So that's why I don't debate a lot on that space thing, because I don't know. In order to debate on the space thing, you have to figure out what reality is, and you have to figure out what the timelines or what's causing the shifting. If you can't figure that out, then you can't say what space is. I've seen pics of the under earth churches before, but they didn't know who made it. Huh. So I've seen the under earth stuff from like India lately, but I hadn't seen this Aksum thing. Tartaria is important. Anatoly flamenco is important. Our history is completely whacked. Yeah. It's not my old history. I don't know what history it is. Now we've got this the new space force for the USA, and I'm like, okay, first the name, I guess then the reality. I don't know. I just why do we have a name for something and we don't have I mean, we have this name for something and supposedly we don't have any force out in space. So we have a name for something we don't have. That's what I think is really weird. The name is there first before the thing is even there. But you know, if we look at how the ME works, first stuff starts as rumor and sci-fi and cartoons, and then it becomes real. So I'm just wondering if the name is part of the generation of the reality. You've got in your mind now this Space Force. You can laugh at him about his stupid Space Force, or if you're pro-Trump, you can say, yes, this is a good idea, the Space Force. But either way, you're thinking about the Space Force. Eva's trolling all of us. Yeah. Am I? Okay, I'm an equal opportunity troll then. Reality is highly overrated. I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know what reality is. I can't tell you if it's overrated. I don't know what else you got. I mean, I'd like to think it's going to be good past reality. Emmy proves we have no clue what reality is. There's only the now. I from Philadelphia. Ingenue. Yeah, a lot of new people in here. T-Box. All right, so we've got Aksum Empire. Hitler trained dogs to talk. World population. Ground effect. Okay, I think I'm through that page. You guys actually came up with a lot. I thought it was going to be a short talk. This is the one I almost put as the thumbnail, but then I really like that eclipse thing. So this giant tadpole looking thing, it's called a rough-head grenadier. This was the image I was going to put up. Now, part of this is perspective, but I've noticed that the ME starts a lot with this weird perspective photos. So the head is supposed to be closer to the camera, making the eye look larger. But still, we have an eye here that covers like 2/3 of the front of the head. So it's basically like a giant tadpole fish. Excuse me. And I just think it looks really weird. So these do not seem to be super deep sea as far as I can tell. I should probably look it up. Roughhead grenadier wiki. These weird fish used to be all deep sea, but I'm just seeing more and more of them now. The roughhead grenadier or onion eye grenadier is a species of marine ray finned fish in the family. Oh, it is a deep water fish. They're pulling these up though. That's what's getting me. Gets to be 3 feet, 1 yard. The head occupies 1/4 of the total length of the fish. 200 to 2,000 meters. So 200 meters is not that low, 660 feet. What gets me is that these deep water things, they used to only see these with the deep sea explorations, but now everybody's just reeling them in. So they're getting more common, and I think we're going to find that we might start to find them to be not so deep anymore, not so uncommon. Okay, here's another one. This is the funny one I was talking about. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose. Well, now reindeer do have red noses sometimes. You can't make this stuff up, I'm sorry. The scientific reason why reindeer have red noses, but only a few of them. Some reindeer really do have red noses, a result of densely packed blood vessels near the skin surface, help to protect it from freezing during sleigh rides and to regulate the temperature of the reindeer's brain. Factors essential for flying reindeer, blah, 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 blah. But no, they really do have red noses, apparently. Minus the Santa joke. So this is Smithsonian. There's the red-nosed guy. Now, here's the thing that's fishy to me, is they're saying they're red because of densely packed blood vessels. So if your nose is brown, it's pigmented brown, then it really doesn't matter how many red blood vessels are under there. The brown pigment of the skin is going to block that. I mean, if you have black skin or dark skin, if there's some lighter color under there, it's not going to heavily impact the exterior color of beyond the skin. It's not going to, the red blood should not be able to push through and override brown skin. So this just sounds like bull to me. Of course, the story was rooted in myth, but there's actually more truth to it than most of us realize. A fraction of reindeer, the species of deer scientifically known as Rangifer tarandus, native to Arctic regions, actually do have noses colored with a distinctive red hue. Now, just in time for Christmas, a group of researchers from the Netherlands and Norway have systematically looked into the reason for this unusual coloration for the first time. Indicates that the color is due to an extremely dense array of blood vessels packed into the nose in order to supply blood and regulate body temperature in extreme environments. Anyway, I call bull. So there's infrared sensors showing the bright reddiness of the nose because of the extra blood there. The nose, along with hind legs, reaches temperatures as high as 75 degrees, relatively hot for reindeer. So in this image, he really does have a shiny nose. Its heat can radiate out into the air. I swear pretty soon we're going to have glowing noses for real. They're going to be photosensitive noses in the dark or something. I'm just waiting for this glow-in-the-dark business to hit the mammals. Actually, I wonder if there's any that have it yet. You call it bioluminescent. Let me use the right word. Bioluminescent. I think that's the way it is. Organisms. What animals are bioluminescent? Marine, fish and sharks. In some cases, animals take in bacteria. The first bioluminescent mammals were a series of glowing mice created in Stanford. All right, so we don't have any natural ones yet. I keep waiting for them to show up, though, but not yet, not yet. All right, so we do have actual red-nosed reindeer. There have been people, and I think I am one of them. It was quite some time ago, but I actually agree with people who don't remember reindeer being real mammals until maybe 15 years ago. When I heard they were real, I was surprised. I thought they were just, legendary. They were just they were just a story. And then suddenly there was really reindeer, and I was really surprised. So I'm a little suspicious about reindeer in general. But now we've got the red-nosed reindeer. I also don't remember two separate antlers like that. Actually, now that I'm looking at that guy, these two separate antlers look fishy to me. Let me just look up reindeer again. Reindeer. Just waiting for the nose to start shining. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, it's just kind of interesting. See, first there was these forks that would come out the front, and now it looks like some of them have, like, they're attached in the head separately. First they were just like this, and now they have their own attachments. I haven't seen, like, what's this? I have not seen this before. I mean, they have reindeer out, they had antlers out the back, but what's all this stuff in the front here? Let's see if I can make this larger. A lot's been going on with antlers. I don't remember anything like this before. That's just weird. Is that going to be standard on these or not? We're just getting more and more like that. I bet you there's a bunch of kinds of reindeer now, too. There just was the one kind, but I bet you... Species. So that guy has some shooting towards the front. We saw that one. He had two separate ones. Yeah, see all this. It wasn't this big up here, and then it didn't have the separate one. And it looks like there's a whole nother one coming out the front over there. They're just getting crazy with these. All right, here's another guy with them shooting out the front. It's like he has a whole tree on his head instead of just antlers. Look at that. Huge. They were not that big. It looks like a leaf in the front. I've also noticed the antlers have gotten a lot less symmetrical. They used to really be symmetrical all the time, and now you look at them. They were matching sets before, but now look, this one has one here. Then this one has a fork out the front. They're not symmetrical anymore. Look at that pile of ridiculous antlers. They're so not symmetrical. Look at that mess. I mean, it's cool, but it looks like he has a whole weird, freaky organism on his head. Yeah, it's been a while since I've looked at these antlers, and I mean, look at that. Look at that. Nobody's. I mean, the elk had these big ones, but not... Those are whacked. That's my story. They're whacked. Okay. Species of reindeer. I have not checked this before, so let's find this out. It's a species of deer. Do we have more than one species? Also known as the caribou in North America. Circumpolar distribution, Arctic, subarctic, tundra, blah, blah, blah. All right, so there may only, some species are rare, and at least one has already become extinct. The Svalbard reindeer is the largest and boreal woodland caribou. All right, so there are kinds. There's the barren ground caribou, the porcupine. Oh, check it out, the antlers like that. All right, so this is the barren ground one. Well, they have some weird antlers. This is porcupine. They have a lot of forks. Perry has almost nothing, but they're fuzzy. All right, anyway. Okay, so yes, there's a bunch of weird ones now. All right, I'm going to just check on what you guys are up to real quick. I don't want to hear about those Svalbard ones. They must have shown up with Svalbard because that wasn't there either. So Rudolph's vessels were ultra crammed. Yeah, I don't. I'm waiting for the bioluminescent mammals. So far, we only have the supposed genetically altered ones, but. So yeah, we have Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer this year. The antlers, the Emmy rages more is better. I have bigger, wilder, stranger, grosser, creepier, sharper, more extreme. It's like the stereotypes is more stretched out. Tails are longer, antlers are more forked, bigger, weirder, crazier. Moose were like that. Yeah, elk, moose, but not reindeer. Christmas tradition came from shamans of Russia. Climbing down the chimney is from teepees that were snowed in. Yeah, that's current timeline anyway. Nachiketa. Every year I hear three new origins of Christmas. I don't even know how any of it began anymore. Yeah, exactly. That's it. That's it. You know what? I think just today I saw three new weird traditions and blah blah. Somewhere they were a Christmas tradition was that people fight on Christmas Day to get over like it was like one night of purging, fight and get your like angst out on each other so that you'll have it all cleared up for the new year. Christmas tradition, and then there's another one where they like sing poetry late at night, Christmas tradition. I'm like, what? And then there's another one that says Christmas the whole thing came from some movie, and I don't know what. I'm like, at some point I'm just like, I don't even want to listen anymore. I remember a few years ago something about them breeding antlers to be larger because they are valuable, but breeding doesn't happen that fast across vast herds. Yeah, I think a lot of that, the storylines are kind of like hiding the Emmy a little bit. What they were saying is that they were breeding like regular deer, like whitetail, to have huge antlers, and they were also feeding them a lot so that the story was if they get more calories, they grow larger antlers. Also, they were packing them full of food so they could grow these giant antlers. I'm still really... And then there was the whole cactus antlers thing. I guess I should look at that because who knows where we're at now. This is supposed to be caused by some kind of disease. All right, so that's one. This weird disease causes their antlers to grow all weird. See, there's a lot more pictures than the last time I looked, and they're a lot more gruesome. This one was not up when I saw it last time. Here's another one. There's just, I talked about the deer wasting disease. There's a whole bunch. Now they're saying, I actually read something this morning. It said the reason that deer meat is not popular in the United States is because of deer wasting disease. What causes weird antlers? There's a lot more of them. I'm not surprised. That's why I'm looking, because although we've looked this up before, there's always more. Every shift, it just gets weirder. So they're basically saying that that's why we don't eat deer meat. No, the reason we didn't eat deer meat is because deer meat is not very tasty. It's really doesn't have much fat in it, and you got to like mix it with. I mean, some people like it, but overall, it's just very, very lean. You got to mix it with some pork or something. You got to do something to it. I mean, in places where you can get a license and go out and shoot a deer without traveling a gajillion miles, it's cheap meat because you get a lot of meat for your license. And people who like to hunt, but overall, it is, it is not as tasty as like steak. Sorry. So, yeah, so this was another excuse. Basically, an excuse to have weird antlers was this cactus antlers was what they're calling it. And it was due to, that's a weird antlers. Look at the antlers on that thing. Huh. Weird. All right. Yeah, I could just look at this all day, but we can move on now. All right. I've been talking a while about a lot of the cats getting dark markings on the back of their ears. Like a lot of the wild cat species get that, and they didn't before. But I somehow failed to notice this about tigers. I saw the darkness, but tigers have spots. There it is. Ran into this. Turns out tigers have spots that look like eyes on their ears to confuse prey. All right, so there we got the tiger, and it's got its ears flicked to look backwards. So when it's got its ears flicked to hear backwards, you can see the back of the ears. And basically like when your cat gets pissed and pushes his ears back. Now you can see these spots. And so they look like eyes. Now I had seen that there was black developing, but I do not recall this white spot in here. So it looks like eyes. Now they're saying it's to confuse prey. And I don't really get that because it's a prey animal, so I don't think the prey animal is going to care if you have 4 eyes or 2 eyes when you're glaring at them. They're still going to be equally scared. Now, if he is the prey and there's a predator after him, now maybe the look of having eyes behind your head might be of use. But this article saying that this is to confuse prey does not make any sense to me. You can see images of them. And you can see here the other note change I've really seen just looking at this. Whoop, no, I don't want to save image. I screwed that up. Derp. Nope. I want to view image. All right. Let's see if I can get this to be a little larger. Look at his face. Look at the white coming off of his eye. It's very interesting mask-like look with the white on here. I don't remember it being like that. They had the black and then they had the orange. This white all coming up and kind of flaring off. That was not like that for me on tigers. I've mentioned this before, but it seems more extreme now. Maybe this one you can really see. See the white's coming way up here now. They did not have a flare. They did not have white eyeliner and a giant flare for me before. Neither did they have these white spots on the ears. It's cool looking, but when I look at it, it kind of reminds me of like some kind of WWF thing. View image. See that? Just no, that wasn't like that. Also, they didn't have so much white here in the front. This was more orange up in here. But these eyes, well, they really stick out. Tigers, it's cool. They're looking cool. Ooh, here's a nice one. Look at that. Look at that. Right there. Just no. I call no. That's not right. All the white on the snout, too. Yeah, so much more white now. So much more white. They were just orange and black. That was it. Those white spots are the inside of the ear. No, because he's got his ears flicked back. So right here, this is the outside of his ear. I know you want to say it's the inside of his ear, but it's the outside of his ear, those white dots. Venison stew is hard to beat. Yeah, if you grow up with it. If you don't, it's pretty gamey, and they're really got no fat. So I'm all right with the gaminess, but I need some fat. So I usually, if you make like kind of a slightly sweet like blueberry sauce, that works. You got to either have fat or carbohydrates. So like a little bit of blueberry sauce on venison is good, or just put like pork. I'm waiting for the Elf on the Shelf murder case. Yeah, Elf on the Shelf kind of came out of the blue for me a couple years ago, too. There's so much more weird Christmas stuff now. Yeah, upside down Christmas trees. What was that, like 2 years ago those showed up? Yeah, Shari D. Elf on the Shelf. I looked into that. It was supposed to be in some movie, but I mean, basically, it just came out of the blue like a couple years ago. My nose curves down at the end, never used to. Interesting for me, my nose sticking up a little more than it used to. Used to, like, you can see in the side of my nostril now, and you could not see the skin on the side of my nostril before. I kind of noticed that lately. I'm like, since when do I see this much? You couldn't because it would be back up inside. So it's like, I don't know. It's different. I got a nose job from the ME apparently. My nose is still pretty long though, but over here, that's kind of an older one, but my jaw muscles here stick out more. It used to be that the widest point in my face was up more in the middle, so I had a face that was like that. But now the widest point of my face is my jaws because they've gotten bigger. And there's actually a functional observation I've made. I think I've covered this before, but I used to hate chewing like hard bread, like baguettes. I hated them because my jaws were weak and I would just get tired and I would just chew like just one bite. I'm like, I'm already tired of chewing this. I didn't like the crust on them because it was hard. And the last few years, maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago, no problem now. I've got these big jaw muscles and I could just wail on any bread. And I don't look at bread going, too much work to eat that bread. I kind of laugh about it now. I'm like, how lazy can you possibly get that you're too lazy to chew on chunks of bread? But yeah, I would get tired. My jaw would be like pooped out after like one big bite. So now, no problems. So those jaw muscles have gotten put to use. Didn't the nose of the dog change in Nightmare Before Christmas? I'm just not useful for the more recent movies. There's not only a few that I've watched a lot of. So like 95% of the movies I have not watched much. I know my nose and ears have changed. Ears got smaller finally. Yay. Yeah, my ears are more pointy. They're like very elfy now. I think that I like them better. I don't really have an opinion on the nose. It doesn't seem that different. I do have the higher cheekbones that you can see in the skulls now. I think that's helped my face a little bit. My face used to just kind of be like, it was just fleshy. It was kind of undefined. Now that it's got some cheekbones, like these high cheekbones up here, give it some definition. Overall, it's not as, it's a little better looking, so I guess I can't complain, but Jesus was now visited by the wise men in a house. Yeah. Uh, Pretty soon the aliens will be there too. And the unicorn. Christmas gnomes. Christmas gnomes. I don't really remember Christmas gnomes. There was Christmas and there were gnomes. There was elves, but I don't really remember gnomes. Gnome tradition. Christmas gnome tradition. 11 Christmas traditions we don't have in the U.S. All right, here's some of those weird traditions that I'm running into. Finland, sauna time. Greece, naughty goblins. This is one I just saw. Look, I'm running into it again. The story is that these goblins come out. What do? They do something nasty. 12 days of Christmas is the only time that they are able to escape the underworld. They're mostly blind, speak with a lisp, and enjoy eating frogs, worms, and other small creatures. They delight in urinating in flower beds and destroying Christmas decorations, among other antics. Fortunately, they can be kept at bay by hanging the jaw of a pig behind the door or keeping a fire lit in the fireplace. All right, that was Greece and other southern European countries. Have any of you guys heard of this if you're in the area? They are Kali Kanzari. I just heard about these earlier today, and there they are again. That was the one I was referring to. See, they're smacking Mexican mining the peas. And Posadra, piñatas, poinsettias, and ponche. One of the popular traditions of Christmas season is Mexico is Las Posadas, which people reenact Mary and Joseph's search for the place to stay, making posthumous pilgrimages through the neighborhoods. Yeah, I don't know. Sweden, St. Lucia Day. Girls dress in white gowns with light in their hair, a nod to the saint who brought light to the dark Swedish winter. Serve coffee and bake delicacies. England, paper royalty. All right, you guys from England. The Victorians in 19th century Britain gave Christmas a lot of charming pizzazz. To this day, wonderfully quirky traditions persist, like when kids write letters to Santa, they are not sent by post, but rather burned in the fireplace so that he can read the smoke. Christmas crackers are popular. Paper tube crackers. Wearing of paper hats and crowns is part of a tradition dating back to Roman Saturnalia celebrations. All right, so you guys, do you wear paper hats and crowns? Taking down the tree and decorations within 12 days of Christmas to avoid suffering bad luck. Australia, the Christmas barbecue and Sandman. Ukraine, 12 courses of Christmas. Norway, gnomes rule. They get their Christmas presents delivered by a Santa gnome. Nice is a household spirit. Russia, Greece, and Bulgaria, a cold swim for Christmas. Alpine countries, the Krampus. This is another one that came out of the blue. I had not heard of the Krampus until like 2 years ago. I thought it was just out of some weird movie, but now they're saying it's this old tradition. It's like Elf on the Shelf, Krampus. Iceland has a very wicked witch. Icelandic children hear tales of the witch ogress Gryla, who punishes badly behaved little children. Gryla picks them up, puts them in her sack, and cooks them in her cauldron. Oh, great. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know. There's just so many weird things now. Christmas gnomes. Yeah, I just have like a 2-foot tree. It's got all the decorations. It's just a plastic one, but it's like kind of an antique. And I just keep it in a bag. And then Christmas, I just pull it out of the bag and plump it on the counter. And it takes like 60 seconds. And I have my Christmas tree. Very convenient. Then I could put the presents around it and I'm done. I heard about the weird disease in Arizona, but 3 years ago, but it wasn't a thing. Are we talking about the deer meat? Yeah. What about the weird mustache behind the killer whale's back? Mustache behind killer whale back. How did the whale get its mustache? Images. Oh, it's this. I think it's this. I don't remember that spot. All right, let's see. Mustache on back of killer whale. See if I can find it. They're not showing backs. Killer whale back view. Ooh. Check that out. That's new. Now, a while ago I was saying this. I didn't remember this. This knob. There sure as heck was not this. That was sure as heck not there. I absolutely agree on that. You can kind of see it on this one. What's this? That's new. I don't think that was here. Look at that. Look at that. What's that? That's super new. I mean, last time I covered it, what the heck is that thing? What is that? That is not right. Drone captures pictures of killer whale feeding. Wrong. All right, you could say that's a trick of the light, but on these other ones. Ooh, look, there it is right there. Yeah, no. Yeah, no. There it is again. So first it was this swirly thing. Now it's that thing. I think someone on Retcon might have been talking about this, but I thought that they meant this one. I didn't realize there was this new one. Yeah, no. Saddle patch. Okay. Yeah, I think they did say something about this. I thought they meant this thing. Yeah, no. Nope. Saddle patch on killer whale. We'll add that one. I spent a lot of time looking at these too. And last time, I think it was like a year ago I did these. Saddle patch, just no. Look at that. Look at that big one. Just wrong. I bet you it's going to get darker, or, well, lighter, I think is stronger will be the word. So, yeah, Nachiketa. Yeah, good point. Venison spaghetti is good if the meat is properly drained and seasoned. Yeah, I think you got to add something to it because it's so dry. Elf on the Shelf didn't come out in 2010. What is the history of Elf on the Shelf? Elf on the Shelf history. The Elf on the Shelf idea dates back to a family tradition from their childhood in the 1970s. See if I can get this one to load. Where did it come from and how did it become so popular? In 2004, Erbisol and Bell wrote the poem that would become the product storybook. They launched their own company the following year to bring the story and tradition to other families across the country. So according to this, it's from 2005, and it was a tradition since the 1970s. I really expect this to go backwards in time. I have a suspicion that we're going to... I don't remember it being as early as 2004, last time I checked. We had an elf growing up as far as long as I can remember. I bet you what we're going to find is it goes further back in history. These guys will get the credit for kind of popularizing it, but it actually was always there. So for right now, this family gets the credit, but keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on it. Those eye spots look more like something butterflies use to scare predators. Yeah, I mean, to me, having eyes on the back of your head would be something to scare off predators, not intimidate prey. Because you don't need to intimidate prey. They're already intimidated with your normal eyes. Okay, so you remember them having the eyes, but they were really light and barely noticeable. That's California and Mr. Biffle's show. Yeah, for me, no, they didn't have that. They didn't have that. They were also on Asian forest cats. I didn't have them. I don't recall on any cats, but they have them on like mountain lions now. Almost all the cats I've seen, except for the really light colored ones. I think 2 weeks ago, Eva talked about the changes in the tiger's face. I remember talking about the cheetah with the lines. Wonder how those lines are doing. Cheetah face. Just to see if there's been any change from a couple weeks ago. Cheetah. I was talking about how I expected to see these lines, and then the ones up here filling in. I don't see anything super obvious. There is, I think, a thickening of this line. Look at, a lot of them do have really thick, the eye line through here has gotten really thick. That's what I've noticed right now compared to 2 weeks ago. They just look thicker. There was only 1 or 2 that had super thick lines, and now a lot of them do. Except for that guy. That's a wallpaper. This is like the old ones, no lines. This guy, this cheetah face wallpaper has no lines. Look at that. No lines. Very interesting. This is like my old timeline. Then they just had a little line, and then more line, more line, more line. Keeps going, going, going. Look at cheetah wallpaper. No lines down from the eyes again. Again, no lines down from the eyes. Here, no lines down from the eyes. No lines. Yeah, the old timeline really shows in some of the art today. It's weird. Other times I've looked for it and in the art and I didn't find any. All right, let's do a side view and see if there's anything. Cheetah face. Side view. All right. It looks to me like there's been a little spreading right here. A little, it was already spread a little, but it looks more spread out. It's kind of like a mystery show. You know it's changing, but you don't know how it will. Look, so it's come down and now it's spreading along the mouth. Look at these spots have gotten very lined up, very linear. So it's thickened here and it's spreading that way. It's come down here and it's heading out the back, towards the back of the mouth. Checky, checky. Yep. All right, this one, it's head out backwards and a little forwards. Keep an eye on that. It's just hilarious. You know, it's just... It looks like it's just going to color up in there. I wonder if it's going to stay a line or what. Look at this cheetah. It's my old style one. Look at no lines. No lines there. Some of them don't have the lines. This may be some other kind of cat. There's so many kinds now. All right, here's the lynxes. Look at, they've got that eye spots on the back. So it was just black last time I checked for lynxes. They only had black on the back of their ears. So now they have the white eye spots, same as the tigers. Interesting, interesting. I think those eye spots are really new for me. Look, no lines under the eyes for this cheetah. Oh, that's a leopard. Okay, never mind. I cry uncle. This one has it. All right, well, so just a little thickening and a little bit spreading on the bottom. But it's only been 2 weeks. Although Lynx has got eye spots, so I call Emmy on that one. We need an astonishment font. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That has to be more than an explanation point, like the WTF symbol or something. I don't think I've ever even considered using WTF so much as since I have learned of the ME. Yeah, I did a video expecting the lines to extend. I don't think that they've lined up that much. The eye, there's maybe a little bit more, but right now I think the ones coming down are thickening and spreading more is what I've seen in the last 2 weeks. I still think those other lines are on their way, but... All right, so let's see. Okay, one more. I was kind of laughing when I saw this one. Heavy water. All right, now, that was a couple months ago. I was talking about how they were saying water is not just H2O. We all learned that water is H2O, and water was, I believe, H2O for most of my life. But then maybe a year ago, they were saying water is not actually H2O. Sometimes it has more H's or less H's. So today I saw there's this thing called heavy water, where it's 2H2O instead of just H2O. So there's like extra hydrogens. So if there's extra hydrogen, that makes it deuterium. So it's like deuterium O, D2O instead of H2O because there's extra H's. So I felt like this kind of was a setup when they were saying that the hydrogens are variable in water and that water is not really H2O. And so now they're saying that there's D2O, which is a form of water that contains larger than normal amounts of hydrogen, and it's deuterium O, deuterium 2O. Okay, so they're saying it is not radioactive. The presence of deuterium gives the water different nuclear properties, but it is not radioactive. The increase of mass gives it slightly different physical and chemical properties when compared to normal water. So, and it's more dense and it's a little heavier. Let's see, what else did I learn about it? Not radioactive. It's 11% more dense. And also, some of these D2O molecules do exist in nature. And if they have different biological effects if you drink it. So, which they don't really understand, but it would interact with your system differently with the extra hydrogens in. Let's see. The human body naturally contains deuterium equivalent to about 5 grams of heavy water, which is harmless. When a large fraction of water, greater than 50% in higher organisms, is replaced by heavy water, the result is cell dysfunction and death. Okay, so you would have to replace the 50% of the water in the entire organism. So just like drinking it, apparently it's not that great for you, but it won't kill you because the rest of your body will still be the normal water. Heavy water was first produced in 1932, a few months after the discovery of deuterium. With the discovery of nuclear fission in 1938, the need for neutron moderator captured few neutrons. Heavy water became a component of early nuclear energy research. Since then, heavy water has been an essential component of some types of reactors. I kind of only just heard of it recently, but I was under the impression that it had to do with being radioactive. But they're saying no, heavy water is not radioactive. Heavy water reactors have the advantage of being able to run on natural uranium without using graphite moderators that pose radiological and dust explosion hazards. I don't know, I'm just really suspicious about this heavy water. Then they've got semi-heavy water. HDO exists whenever there's water with light hydrogen, protium, and deuterium in the mix. This is because hydrogen atoms are rapidly exchanged between water molecules. Water containing 50% H and 50% D in its hydrogen actually contains about 50% HDO and 25% each H2O and D2O in dynamic equilibrium. One molecule in 3,200 is HDO naturally. Thus, semi-heavy water molecules are far more common than pure heavy water molecules. Heavy oxygen water, water enriched in heavier oxygen isotopes O and O, is commercially available. It is heavy water as it is denser than normal water, but is rarely called heavy water since it does not contain deuterium. All right, so it's kind of like the whole just kind of vague statement that the water is not H2O is now got all these definitions with this heavy water, semi-heavy water, heavy oxygen water, blah, blah, blah. I suspect that this is going to continue to develop. And we might see more maybe splits in the types of water in natural environments. So keep an eye on that. Okay, I think I've got everything now. So we've got what? Dogs that have opinions on religion. We've got reindeers with red noses. Oh, I skipped this one. This one is also weird. I don't think I've covered this, but I might have. But I'm going to put it in anyway because I think I heard about this before, but I can't remember if I covered it. Tom Thumb was real. That was just a myth in my old timeline, but the real Tom Thumb, and he was called General. So this was him for real. This is Tom Thumb. Now, I've said before that my old timeline did not have the style of dwarfs that was like a perfect tiny replica person. We had the style of dwarfs that had, kind of short legs, but they weren't proportional to regular humans. This timeline has it, and Tom Thumb was one of them. 2 foot tall, I think it was. They called him General Tom Thumb, better known as his stage name. Tom Thumb was a dwarf with a global celebrity. He was founded by P.T. Barnum. So anyways, he was real in this timeline. Tom Thumb was a real dude. It was just an old storyline. It was just like a goofy, made-up story in my old timeline. So I think that's the last one. I think I have everything now. Oh, wait. I'm missing one. This one comes from D90 Girl, who is a commenter on the channel. See, I haven't forgot anybody else, have I? Crocodiles climb trees. I think I found almost everything this time. Yeah, only this one was found by D90 Girl. It used to be only one kind of hyena, but now we have this one called brown hyena. Also called strand wolf, is a species of hyena found in Namibia, Botswana, western and southern Zimbabwe, southern Mozambique, and South Africa. Currently the rarest species of hyena. So if it's the rarest, it's the newest to come to the timeline if you follow the pattern. They are more cool looking. Look, he's got stripy legs and he's got nice fur. They used to kind of, I don't know, they used to look like they were wearing polka dot pajamas, but this one is kind of a neat looking guy. No polka dot pajamas. He's got stripy pajamas and a bunch of fur. Very cute. I wonder if they're pajamas when they're little, because they're saying, follow brown hyena. See, that doesn't look like one, but maybe it's a baby or something with different colors. So look, they've got these big ears. Those are weird looking things. They look like they're, the legs look like they belong from a different animal. They've got these big ears that are kind of naked, but they're super furry on the body. The face is very short-haired. It looks like a bat face. This is a weird-looking thing, these brown hyenas. There was a whole bunch of stuff I could have used for the thumbnail today. I kind of had a tough decision. Look at that. It's got this bat face, bat or rat face, and it's all furry. Then it's got these stripy, short furred legs. The heck, man? The more I look, the weirder it is. It looks like it's like 3 animals glued together. Sonia, there you go. Brown hyena. Very weird. Look at the face. All right, let me see if I really have them all now. That I keep saying that, and then I have one more. I think I for reals got them all. Yeah, I thought it was going to be a short day, but you guys found a lot, and then I found a lot at the last minute. Southern dolphin right whale. Southern dolphin right whale. Southern right whale dolphin. Oh yeah, okay. Those, I think I've had those on. They don't have that dorsal fin. All right, now this is the one I had on before. It looked like this. No dorsal fin, and it's got this weird. But what's this? What's this? This is different. This one doesn't have, this is a different color pattern. I remember more, it looked more like a yin yang. This one, maybe because he's bent, but it almost just looks like a strip now down his back. He's got the single stripe from the skunk, except for its reverse coloration. They're a little different than last time I looked. The last time I looked at these, the nose did not have the white on it. And it looks like there's a smudge on the nose. It didn't have this smudges here. I think it was more like all of this was black and then it would strip back. It didn't have that white pointy nose. Yeah, that's what's different. It's changed. It's been like a year since I've looked at these. I think that the black was all the way here before. And now it's got that, God, it's just weird how it keeps changing. Yep, yep. There are, ooh, look at them from the front view. Look at that. So yeah, they've been on, but not surprisingly, they have changed a bit. I have remember cheetahs having super small gene pool and they were endangered and they were worried about genetic diversity. Now it's fine. You know, I noticed this timeline, they're not so worried about that genetic inbreeding thing as they were in the old time. That was like supposed to be like the death knell before, but now it's just not that big a deal. All right. I think that I'm going to reload it because it looks like sometimes it just freezes up and then you guys are chatting away, but none of the new chat shows. I got to reload. I could probably find it over here instead. There we go. That was... yeah, I think we can ban California Mist. They're just on there spamming. Yes, definitely. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like the whole small gene pool thing is just less of an issue. There's so many... I just saw a thing where they were saying, you know, there's one species of fish that only exists in one pool in the Death Valley, and there's only 100 of them, and then they're not talking about the dangers of small genetic diversity as much. And then we have all these creatures that they're saying, oh, they don't have much genetic diversity, and it's just less of a thing now. This looks like a mix and mash animal. The fur was shorter. See, those are the brown hyenas that I was showing. And the regular hyena has those like speckles. Hyena. There used to be just the one kind, but now there's a whole bunch of kinds. All right, so there's like the kind of the one you normally see. It's kind of speckled. It's got the wider ears. I still think that those have changed some too. Those are not exactly how I remember them, but that's more like the regular style. It doesn't have long hair and stuff. That long-haired one is just a new one. I think their necks have gotten really long. They used to be more doggy. They're almost like getting giraffe-like. They're getting kind of short in the torso and long necks. I don't remember them being like that originally. The ears, I don't remember them being that sideways. Look at how long the necks have gotten. They're really long now. Do not remember them like that. They were much more doggy before. This is more how I remember them here. I wonder if this is a different species now. I remember them more speckly like this. I'm going to see if I can see what species this one's. Laugh like vocalizations. There are 4 species of hyena. Yeah, see, there's just the one before. I just remember the speckly painted ones mostly. Short torso, low hindquarters, and give their back a hunched appearance, long forelegs and thick necks. downward sloped. Most species are tan and brown with dark stripes or spots. Yeah, anyway, so I say that this one is more like how I remember them. Not quite that extreme, though, and not this line down thing. So it looks like they split off, basically. They split off into 4. I remember the neck being a little long, but not like it is now. David Kent, $10. Thank you. Appreciate that greatly. Suso's in. Morning, Dark Wolves. You're just kind of at the end of the show. Sorry about that. What is it, like super early where you are? You just woke up? Because I'm kind of like, it's 2:30 in the morning here, so I'm almost getting ready to conk out. All right. Pigmented just like hippos. Anyway, lots of weird stuff on this show. Red-nosed reindeer. Dogs that like poetry. I really got to see where that weird World War II story goes, because I mean, are they really gonna come out and say that dogs learned to talk, enjoyed poetry, and had opinions on religion? Are they really gonna come out with that? Because I was looking and I couldn't find nobody was calling baloney on that story. It was all research seems to indicate, like, there was nobody skeptical going, nuh-uh. Tom Thumb was real. Water got heavy. Crocodiles climb trees. Solar eclipses are a ring of fire now. And the ground effect can lift a plane, at least a little bit. All right, lots of weird stuff. Lots of weird stuff. I'm really curious where that World War II story goes with that Hitler thing. That is just totally... You see how it starts? First, there's just some mumbling about Hitler being a dog lover. And then there's, he made these rules to protect dogs. And now, all of a sudden, it's dogs are like people. They can learn to talk, and they have opinions on religions and poetry. It's just weird, Anyways, it's like 2:30 in the morning, so I'm going to be out of here shortly. I think you guys have given me all your good stuff. Appreciate that. Lots of good ones from you guys this time, too. Suso woke up to feed the cats at 3:33 a.m., huh? Them's is some spoiled kitties. Because no matter what, my kitties are not getting me up at 3:30 in the morning. They're going to have to wait. All right, it's time for me to go. Sorry, Suso, you are late to the party. But say hello to the kitties for me. I think I'm ready to go. So, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that kind of happy holidays business. And thanks for all the great Emmys. Think good thoughts, everybody. This is Eva signing off for Once Upon a Timeline.